Hello and welcome to this week's Power Engineering International newscast. I'm Tildy Bayar. In the news this week, a brand new coal-fired power plant in Sweden is set to be sold. GE and Siemens pledge to invest billions in power plants in Argentina. A report from the World Energy Council finds that renewables are now big business. And South Korea announces a $27 billion sustainability spending plan. The head of Sweden's state-owned utility Vattenfall says he sees the company's new Moorburg coal-fired power plant in Germany as being sold within the next 5 years. The plant, which only launched commercial operations last year, is set to go the same way as the rest of Vattenfall's German coal assets. The company agreed to sell other loss-making lignite coal mines and power plants in Germany to Czech investor EPH earlier this year, saying it would become one of the greenest utilities in Europe. Vattenfall Chief Executive Magnus Hall said on Monday that he is open to also selling the Moorburg plant near Hamburg, which can generate around 11 terawatt-hours annually, to a long-term investor. And he added that Vattenfall could be open to phasing out production at its coal-fired power plant in the Netherlands. The world's top power technology companies are planning to invest significant capital in developing power plants in Argentina as a result of the new government's openness to foreign capital. GE, the latest foreign company to announce new plans since President Mauricio Macri took office, aims to invest $10 billion over the next decade. The firm has already invested $1.2 billion alongside local partners and customers in the past 4 months, it said, including $900 million to build thermal power plants. GE said its investment will help build 7 power plants that will add around 1 gigawatt to the country's power system. The figure includes the $350 million GE had already decided to invest alongside state-controlled oil company YPF to build 2 plants. Meanwhile, Siemens said it would help create investments and provide financing for $5.6 billion in infrastructure projects, including gas-fired power plants. Renewables have become big business, generating record levels of investment in 2015 and experiencing explosive growth over the past 10 years, a new report from the World Energy Council has found. According to the report, renewables now account for over 30% of the world's total installed power capacity and 23% of global power production. And since 2005, wind and solar power have seen annual growth of 23% and 50% respectively. In 2015, the report found that a record $286 billion was invested in 154 gigawatts of new renewable power capacity, as compared to the 97 gigawatts of conventional generation capacity added globally. And investment in renewables was seen to shift from developed countries to emerging economies, with China alone accounting for 36% of global investment. In 2015, 164 countries were found to have supportive policies in place for renewables. 95 were developing countries, up from 15 in 2005. Of the investment in renewables, an overwhelming 76% went toward wind and solar photovoltaic projects. However, the Council cautioned that these technologies still face challenges due to their variability. And finally, the Asia Power Week conference and exhibition is underway in Seoul this week and has kicked off with a dramatic statement on sustainability by South Korea's second Vice Minister of Energy. Tae-hee-woo told the conference today that his country plans to invest $27 billion in renewables and, from next year, will begin to retire 10 coal-fired power plants. Woo said South Korea has set an ambitious target to cut its greenhouse gas emissions by 37% by 2030, and added that energy storage, wind power, and solar will all play key roles. In addition, he said Korea's emissions reduction strategy will involve retrofitting its existing plants with supercritical technology. Hyungwon Park of Doosan echoed this theme, saying that all coal-fired plants in South Korea will be supercritical by the end of the next decade. Park also noted that while developing countries have managed to transition to renewables relatively well, such a drastic move could prove to be a shock for Asia. Power Engineering International editor Kelvin Ross is on the scene in Seoul this week. You can find all the news and updates from him and from Asia Power Week on our website, Twitter feed, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And that's all from us this week. We'll see you again soon.